Search of Alphinaud. Search of Alphinaud. Assuming they both just kind of just want you to open up the map. So, like, Heaven's Ward does that too, where they're like, well, you can go see this brother first or this. I guess it really. Anyways, level 70 in Search of Alphinaud. Crystal Exarch is eager for you to meet with Alphinaud. You will visit Alphinaud and Kalusia then? Excellent. As I mentioned, your destination is an island off the west coast, so you will need a mount capable of making the journey. Here's a letter of introduction. Present it to Jinmai, the Master of Beast at Timinus Rookery, and he will take care of you. The Alphinaud, be sure to pass on my warmest regards. Instead of picking them both. Rookery. Your face is unknown to me. What business have you at my rookery? Signed by the Exarch, no less. Yes, I can provide you with an Amaro for passage to Kalusia. I will pick you out a friendly whelp. An Amaro, you say? That's right. Mounts like my great friend over there are a common sight in these parts. I gather you hail from further afield, more accustomed to chocobos, perchance. I hear there are a few places where they ride little else. Seeing as you are plainly unaccustomed to riding Amaro, I think it best I accompany you on this flight myself. Polite? Any Zune worthy of the name could do it, of course, but the Exarch sent you to me. Ensuring you arrive safely is my responsibility. Gather your things and meet me at the Amaro launch. One of the junior tamers will attend you while I ready the mounts. Like we've already unlocked something. Lights of the First. We're gonna save all of the unlocks after we do MSQ required. Want to fly an Amaro to Kalusia? Well, I suppose if Master Jinmai is going with you. Wait here, please. The Master should be along with the mounts shortly. You now travel to Kalusia. Speak with the aspiring Amaro tamer to fly to the island. You can also use your Ether Compass to assist with locating Ether currents in new regions. Ether Compass can be found under Collection in the Duty section of the main menu.
The whistling breeze, mute. The pounding surf, frozen. Time itself takes a breath. At light's edge, all is perfectly still. The world captured in a painting, locked in a moment. Music, faint and fleeting, drifts coastward on the lifeless air. And in the distance, beyond the broken earth, a city beckons.
We are arrived. This is the Cracked Shell Beach on the eastern coast of Kalusia. Be safe here for the present. Compared to the mainland, Sind Eater attacks are far less prevalent, and the native beasts are not any more dangerous than elsewhere. It is the people you should be wary of. By you, that city in the distance, that is Yulmore, the island's main settlement. Rivals the Crystarium in scale and was once an ally in our battle against the Abomination. Years the Yulmoran elite have fancied themselves the masters of what remains our broken world. They have gone as far as to offer the leaders of other settlements their protection if we bend the knee. But to say their ideals are questionable would be putting it mildly. The Crystarium is one among many who resist their heavy-handed authority, and while we are not at war, our relationship with Yulmor is strained at best. It may be wise to conceal your ties with the Exarch during your stay here, especially in the vicinity of the city. I'm glad we understand each other. Now the Exarch has instructed me to divulge a secret that should make finding your friend a good deal easier. Listen closely. Search of Alphinaud. Still tied. Whatever Zim Jinmai has to tell you, he plainly deems it worthy of your undivided attention. If you head south along the coast, you will eventually come to a fisherman's shack. A friend of the Crystarium lives there, a man who goes by the name of Ebor. Ebor keeps an eye on everything that happens in Kalusia and will be able to point you in the right direction. Just hand him a sprig of thyme, and that will let him know you can be trusted. Here, this should be enough. Find your friend. I will stay here with the Amara until you are ready to return. We need to start level 74. Hobgoblin. Hush. Ebor. What you after? Fish? Crab? Think I've got an eel in a barrel somewhere if you taste for them. Ooh, I do love a bit of thyme. Chuck some in a pan and it's like a bloody festival of flavor. Now what is it I can do for you? Can't say as there's been any major upsets to report these past few weeks. Alphinaud, eh? I know the one, our young champion of the downtrodden. Humor's richer than all of Norvant put together, but it's a different story for them as live outside the city. Most spend every waking moment just trying to stay alive. Makes your friend's dedication to helping others stand out all the more. I can hazard a guess as to where he is now, get a message to him, but you'll need somewhere quiet to meet, away from prying eyes. Make for Stilltide. That's the fishing village just up the path there. You're looking for a rundown excuse for a tavern the locals call the Leaky Keel. Wait there and I'll see that Alphinaud joins you. It's your first time in a tavern? It's customary to buy a drink if you mean to loiter. What'll you be having? Ale, mead, water? Ale. Fine choice, and what'll you be paying with? Well now, those are exotic. Where did you come by coins like that? I'm sorry, dear, I don't doubt they have value, but I don't have a touchstone to test their purity, and I'm not about to go begging for one from the neighbors, so we'll just have to come to some other arrangement. Here's an idea. There's a continent to the north where we grow our vegetables, but lately the pests have been eating more of them than we have. What do you say to a bit of extermination work? I want you to squash any vermin you find, then visit the caretaker and give him an earful from me for sleeping on the job. He'll be in the old silo next to the fence, snoring like as not. Do that for me and you can laze about here as long as you like. Wow. Birds are infracted. Whiptail. The exploration phase. Accomplished. Barred door. No response. Maybe you need to knock louder. No response. Perhaps the occupant is hard of hearing? Hear a faint squeaking from the room beyond. Time to burst in and save the day, brave adventurer. Alphinaud gonna be. No one is home, and judging by the lack of furniture, they haven't been for some time. The gnawed scraps of vegetables on the floor suggest rats have taken up residence in their absence. Nobody's home. Talk to Piva. Welcome back, dear. What did that good-for-nothing caretaker have to say for himself? Gone. Must have left to join the rest of the hopefuls. In Gate Town, outside Yulemore? You don't have a clue what I'm talking about, do you? And there I was thinking you were another dreamer. Well, never mind all that. Take a seat wherever you like, dear. You've more than earned it. I'll even throw in another drink on the house. Romulan ale.
And how is business today, Mistress Theva?
Oh, frenetic. Look, I have a new customer.
Tis good to see you, my friend. The barley seeds you wanted. They should produce a better harvest than the last.
What, just like that? Oh, Alphinaud, you really are a dear. Well, I'd best be tidying up some of those empty shacks before the pests move in. Keep an eye on the place while I'm out, eh?
seems an age since last we spoke. Not since the prisoner exchange in Doma. And Yotsu. It has been even longer for me, of course, if you count the days I've spent here. But the time has only added to the relief I feel seeing you safe and well.
I was more worried about you. Thought we'd lost you. Because he was out when we picked him up from the burn.
Huh. Alize said much the same thing. I don't think I've ever had such a scolding. But I believe an exchange of news is in order. Come, tell me of your arrival and all that came before.
Here for like a night, right?
I see. Both the Exarch and Alize told me what they knew of events, but I had stubbornly clung on to the hope that all-out war might yet be avoidable. And poor Tataru. She must be sick with worry. We must endeavor to return as soon as we may. It would be nice to bring her good tidings for a change. But before we bid this world farewell, we must first ensure that it is not rejoined to the source. We must prevent the 8th Umbral calamity.
Yep.
Urianger's vision of the future has, I fear, every chance of coming true. By his description, the catalyst for the calamity was a formless and deadly weapon employed by the Garlean Empire. Which can only mean one thing. Black Rose. Gaius was telling you the truth. When we were on the trail of the Ascians, we saw evidence that the gas was being manufactured once more. Gaius was adamant that the project had been scrapped. But so long as there are wars to be waged, there will always be those determined to win by any means. And thus simply destroying the existing stores of Black Rose would do little to alter fate's course. In that sense, our involuntary journey here to the First was something of a boon. Together with the Exarch, we've developed a theory as to how we believe the rejoining will be set in motion. I'm sure Urianger himself will cover the subject in more detail. But I can tell you the process requires that both worlds, the Source and the First, be facing an existential threat. One being Sin-Eaters, of course. They are a menace that I would dearly love to remove, and not just to avert a calamity. I may be a stranger to this world, but I will not stand idly by and let innocent people be slaughtered.
Tell him, boy.
That is what brought me to the gates of Yulmore. Ignoring its pretensions as a kind of capital city to what remains of the world, it is nonetheless a center of power and authority. If any solutions are to be found, I believe our search should begin there. What say you, old friend? Hungry for another adventure?
Adventure! Killing bugs.
And so we take to the road once more.
Still tied. Okay, level 70. Open arms, close the gate. Alphinaud is ready to take to the road once more. Assuming you have no objections, let us make our way directly to the city outskirts. If we time our arrival just right, you may be lucky enough to see why I have yet to set foot in Yulmore, despite my best efforts to do. Come, from here we must head west, then cross a small bridge. Lugia seems peaceful, does it not? Almost familiar. I had a similar impression of the Crystarium. Even in this distant world, people are much the same. To think whenever a calamity struck the source, a reflection such as this one, with all its culture and history, was being erased from existence. Oh no, get away from me! Over there! Quickly, someone's in trouble. Oh, thank the fates. Look out! An attack. Experience with me. Poor heart. Thank you, young miss. Ah, there you are. In my haste, I lost my bearings, but I see you have the situation well in hand. Fine work. You all right, madam? Just a few bruises from where I fell, nothing compared to what was in store for me before this brave soul came to my rescue. Honestly thought I was done for. My feet are not as swift as they once were, and I knew there was no one left to hear me scream, not that I let that stop me. I should probably leave my old house behind and queue up outside Yulmore with the rest of them. Doubt those fancy lords and ladies would welcome an old crone like me. Still, even a shack near the gate has to be safer than staying here. One would hope. Either way, I suggest you avoid wandering alone, lest you make the Sin Eater's task any easier. Thank you again, you saved my life. Now, I'm sure a strapping lass like you has little to fear, but I wouldn't linger long in this place. There's naught to be had here but a cobwebs and... Just as the lady says, many in these parts have abandoned their homes to live in Yulmore's shadow. Should the Sin Eaters descend upon this region, there are precious few with the strength to fight them off. Speaking of which, what have you been told of these monsters? Brief history then. 'Twas not long after the flood swallowed the better part of the world that the Sin Eaters first appeared, some beastly, some beauteous. Yet regardless of their form, all seem incapable of speech, and all are driven by the same insatiable appetite for mortal ether. They are predators, and we are their prey. Pelusia suffers from far fewer attacks than most regions, but even so, the list of the Sin Eaters' victims grows longer by the day, a tragedy without end. Still, we have won a small victory this time, at least. Now, shall we press on? We need to return to where the road forks and follow the path that leads west. But be careful around the senators. Tested it. Oh. He meant I was that way. We're gonna do them like we did in Storm. If we cross The obvious ether currents will pick them up. Rest of it. After we do. Shantytown.
That gate up ahead is known as the Open Arms, and Yulmore itself lies beyond. This, meanwhile, is the aptly named Gate Town, the dwelling place of the many desperate souls who hope to be chosen to live in the city proper.
Curious, sir?
Ah, I thought I recognized you. Brought a new friend, eh? I'll bet you got a trick or two up your sleeve. Maybe even 3. Care to show me?
She's not here to compete. Leave her be.
What? I was only making conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please! Greetings to our hopeful petitioners, one and all! Yulmore extends its warmest regards.
That a 9 reference?
Let it be known that a lady of distinction wishes to dine on fish divine. We seek a master culinarian who can guarantee seafood perfection. Dazzle the matron with your delicious dishes, and life in the city will be yours to enjoy, even on days when fish is not on the menu! Who among you will answer the call? Name yourself or another. We might not at all.
Fish, is it?
Was there anyone?
What about that girl?
Do you recall how I said Yulmore was a center of power and authority? Well, that is not the only reason for its fame. It is also known as the City of Final Pleasures. The noble and the wealthy who survived the flood gathered here to live out the rest of their days in decadent abandon. A poor man could sooner pass through the Iron Needle than Yulmore's gates. The only way the common folk can enter this perverted paradise is if they fulfill the whim of one of the privileged. And so they are picked over like market produce.
What a catch! We'll not be throwing this one back. Having seen your all too obvious charms, we welcome you with open arms. Come, join us in a city of splendor and live out your life in an ecstasy of endeavor. Oh, just look at those expectant faces. What could you possibly be waiting for? Well, what have we here? An extra share of meal to celebrate our newest resident! For you!
Ah, at last!
Enjoy!
Thank goodness.
Over here!
Meal is a foodstuff which Yulmore routinely doles out to the people of Gate Town, and apparently a staple for its citizens as well. Many here rely on it to survive in these times of scarcity, yet the whole arrangement just seems
Oh.
Let us just say it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, it's messed up. We have to get in there somehow, don't we? Now you understand why my attempts to enter the city have thus far come to naught. The dubious privilege of residency must be won by a contest with ever-changing rules. They say this policy has been in place for the past 2 decades, ever since Yulmore's current ruler came into power. Yet from what I have seen, it does more harm than good. Not only does it distract people from our shared struggle against the Sin Eaters, it robs them of their self-sufficiency. I have tried to propose ways they could improve their lot, but my words invariably fall on deaf ears. The attitude is so entrenched now, I worry that, well, mayhap you should take a turn around Gate Town and judge the situation for yourself. Large pot bubbles over the flame. Pale chunks, mule, you realize, float in the otherwise plain broth. Most of the world is. Yeah, there's gonna be a battle for resources. Just look at it. Can you imagine a more beautiful city? Every day I dream of the life that awaits for me inside those walls. Oh, will they ever pick me? Hooverville. Still here, are you? Can't blame you for wanting a slice of Yulmore's pie. If you ask me, you should ditch that sour-faced brat and make a home for yourself here. Gate Town's not much to look at, but at least it's safe, and the mule is the best thing I've ever tasted. Wait, Alphinaud? How are we gonna get into this? Seen what Gate Town has to offer? These people can no longer fend for themselves. They become dependent on handouts of mule and believe Yulmore is the answer to all their woes. And no matter how I frame my encouragement, they seem unwilling, nay, unable, to conceive of any other way of life. Open arms, closed gate. Fickle existence. Alphinaud wears a look of profound disapproval. Disapprove of these people's way of life? Disapprove of Yulmore. It is difficult to make a final judgment without first seeing the city's inner workings. Mayhap it is that uncertainty which always makes me feel so ill at ease here. Not that it matters. However unjust this system seems to me, if these people claim to be content with their lot, it is hardly my place to criticize their choices. But take that elderly lady you rescued. Does it not seem that those who have chosen to forgo Yulmore's largesse are doomed to suffer for their independence? In the end, they are all but forced to seek refuge in Gate Town, and so hamlets and fields across the island are left empty and untended, hastening the region's descent into ruin. Hey, I am not convinced that Yulmore's generosity truly serves the best interest of Kaluja's people. I am not so naive as to think there is some miraculous solution to all of this, yet I cannot help but frown at the sight of hard-working villagers struggling to survive, even as the chosen few rejoice at being plucked from poverty by the hand of a capricious noble. There has to be a better way. I will not know for sure, however, until I have taken those long-delayed steps through Yulmore's gates. It's fortunate that you arrived when you did. I have been working on a scheme to insinuate myself into the city. If all goes to plan, it should come to fruition. There's a beast tribe who makes its home in the seas surrounding the island, the Ondo they are called. Though you and I know them as Sahagin. For the most part, they keep to themselves in their ocean grottos and rarely have dealings with land dwellers. But as Tataru took such great pains to impress upon me during our stay in Kugane, business favors the bold, and so I reached out to them. Duly discovered that the Ondo are inordinately fond of land-grown produce, fresh fruits in particular. When I offered to procure such goods for them, they promised to pay me in pearls. An attractive business venture for any prospective investor, would you not agree? Surely even the most jaded Yulmorian lord would have time for a merchant who can make pearls from plums and pumpkin. Yes, I've come a long way since my days of buying samurai swords without first negotiating a price. My appointment with the Ondo is due to take place in a few hours. I just need to collect the produce and meet with them on the shore. Okay? Might you help me make the exchange? Excellent. I should be glad of your company. First things first, then. We must pay a visit to Moshe Moa, my supplier and right. Come, it is just to the northwest of here. Uh-oh. Man. So you can write. Good. Is there something I can do for you, friend? Good day to you, Moshe Moa. This is my associate, Zilli. We are here to collect the produce I purchased. I loaded your lackey up with the goods not long ago. My lackey? I know of no such person. Pistol lad, short blue hair? No, he said he'd come on your behalf, and since he seemed to know all the details, I just assumed. Confound it, someone must have been eavesdropping on our conversation. This charlatan was here not long ago. He cannot have gone far. We should split up and search the area. You find a vantage point on the south side of the town, and I shall take the west. Beef. Steals vegetables. Believe it. Leave me alone, to the area. I don't want. Search the surroundings for a male mistel with short blue hair. You may move the camera as well as zoom in and out. Target a likely suspect and inspect him with right trigger A. Ah, stop. Oh. You have located your quarry. Any sign of him? That way. Keep a keen eye. Let us move in before he makes a good his escape. Kill my vegetable. Wide targeting rate.
There you are. The thief who claims the harvest on my behalf. Hand it over.
Well, forgive me. I have to get into the city. I have no family and all my friends have already been chosen. No one here gives a damn about me. When the meal gets handed out, I'm lucky if I get a smell of it. No matter what I do, they won't call out my name. I'm so tired, I'm so bloody hungry. I thought maybe I could steal your idea, get in that way.
What is your name?
Kai Shear.
Tell me then, Kai Shear, must it be Yulmore or nothing? What of the Crystarium? They may not offer charity, but you would be fairly compensated for any work you did.
No, it has to be Yulmore. That's where all my friends are. We made a promise that we'd live together in paradise.
Drugging the mule.
I was to make my deal with the Ondo at the Clave. Listen carefully, and I shall tell you my plans for the business, and how best to arouse the Yulmoran's interest.
You'll give me your place? Just like that?
I'm giving you a chance, nothing more. What comes of it is entirely up to you.
I understand. Oh, thank you, thank you!
Really the time for us to be charitable. Get into the city. Find out what's going on.
This was but one path. There will be others. But for young Kai Shear, it was the difference between life and death. I do not regret my decision, yet I will admit that a part of me wonders if it was for the best. We strive to bring swift salvation to this world, that countless lives might be saved, not least your own. Even if it came at the cost of one man, should I have forged on regardless?
Or quite possibly meaning we'd better hurry up and think of a new plan.
I suppose not. Were Estinian here, he would most likely scoff at my soft-heartedness.
Same old Alphinaud, ever the slave to sentiment.
But I thank you for your kind words nonetheless. Let us see to it that both these stories have a happy ending. Shall we return to Wright then? Is that... I can't be sure, but I think someone's in trouble.
I'd just be taking a nap.
Come on, they may need our help.
Over there, it probably would be. All the music. Metal theme. It's a different world. It makes. Definitely more electric guitar. A lot of them we can't get to. That should take care of the worst of his injuries. Cough, splutter, mercy, mercy, I beg you. Breathe easy, sir. No harm will come to you here. Poor man is shivering. Pray keep an eye on him while I get a fire going. I thought for certain I was dead. How am I ever to repay this kindness? Settle for the tale behind your current predicament. Why don't you begin by telling us your name? Just fancy. Crystal, I was invited into Yulmore to work as an artist. Wealthy couple took me in to paint pictures for them, but when my style proved contrary to their taste, they just as quickly turfed me out onto the... I was left penniless and patronless, a grave sin in Lord Balthier's city. Balthier? Within days they had brought me before the man himself, and he asked me what I meant to do. Dejected as I was, I told him I wished to leave. Little did I know how soon he would grant me my wish. They flung me over the balustrade into the goddamn ocean. From up there? How were you not dashed to pieces? Don't ask me, luck I suppose, though if you hadn't found me when you did, I wouldn't have counted for much. Monstrous, and the citizens condone such barbaric punishment? Oh, without a second thought, when Lord Balthier passes judgment, no one in so much as blinks, let alone argues. Yulmore, his word is law. The more I hear about Yulmore, the more determined I am to see what waits within its walls. I shall bend all my thoughts towards securing another way into the city. There must be something we can do. First, we should convey Tristal to the shelter of the village. Fire or no fire, he needs to be out of this chilly coastal air. Way into the city? Kitty. Sizable gate. Pray accept my deepest gratitude. I owe you both my life. And if you'll permit me, I would assist you in your attempt to enter Yulmore, insofar as I am able at any rate. To be frank, the thought of sending my saviors into that awful place makes me sick to the stomach, but since it's plain you've set your minds on it, you should take this. My favorite paintbrush. Yulmore and Elite are never satisfied until they get exactly what they want, and if I'm not mistaken, the couple I mentioned will be looking for someone to replace me. If you make a show of owning such a well-used brush, you may be able to convince people you have a talent for painting. You certain? This is your livelihood. We cannot deprive you of such a treasured possession. I give it gladly after all you've done for me. Besides, I don't think I have the heart to paint anymore. As to what I'll do instead, I honestly haven't decided, but I shan't stay long in this place, not with that city brooding over me. Nay, I'll move on to new lands and a new profession. I'll keep you in my prayers from now until my dying day. Fickle existence. City of Final Pleasures, level 70. Alphinaud weighs the brush you received from Tristol in salt. They say kindness is its own reward, but Tristol has repaid us with a gift as timely as it was unexpected. We will, however, need to act upon his advice before another painter steps in to fill the vacancy. Thankfully, I do have some modest skill with a brush. Nothing approaching that of a true artist, of course, but enough to play the role, I would hope. As for you, well, if you don't mind taking a subordinate role, may I have you compose as my assistant? And it is settled. All we need to do now is return to Gate Town and await the next appearance of those vile jesters. Most of these recurrence. Here they come. Ladies and gentlemen, your attention once more. What a day it's been for the folks at our door. Welcome a peddler who made pearls from a plum, and now we've a place for a painter of a plum. Come along and don't be slow. It's time to let your colors show. I can paint, portraits at least. Landscapes and still lifes are so rarely commissioned these days. Oh, I thought I spied some new faces in the crowd. What fortune that you should feel at ease around an easel. What proof have you of your prowess? Any masterpieces on your person? Sadly not. Everything I paint is soon sold. Such is the life of a working artist. I have only my brush to testify for me, though you will note that it has seen no small amount of service. Aha, ho ho, flecks of paint, both old and new, a tool much loved and much used. Not a prop to be conjured on the hop. Very well, come with us and we'll put those talents to the test. And who is this hanger-on, well-wisher or parasite? Why, this is my assistant, she whose unfailing support allows my art to flourish. I will go with her or not at all. Parasite, then. We shall leave her fate in the hands of your new employer. It matters not a whit to us. Having filled our latest vacant space, we retire to Yulmore's sweet embrace. Oh, mercy me, the mule. We almost took our leave without leaving a loving token. Let's empty the sacks ere we make our way back.
Redemption is beyond us. The lament of all but saints and fools, and the comfort of the lords and ladies of this accursed place. Once they held fast against the madness, only to embrace the coming cataclysm and delight in the end of days.
Poor Brand.
Perhaps in rapture they seek to lose themselves and the misery they share. Or perhaps for them alone, the promise of eternal pleasure really does hold true.
Welcome, welcome to the city of final pleasures. Feel free to weep at its magnificence. No, not even a single tear. Moving right along then. Our first task is to register you as residents. You know, make it all nice and official. With food the way, so you need to put on your happy faces and head through to Joyous Hall. Bureau of Immigration is in the first room on the left side of the passage. Declare your name and occupation in a nice, loud voice. Clerks will tell you where to go from there. Oh, and pay no mind to those folks off to the side of the road. Much like the hopefuls in Gate Town, they haven't earned the right to enter the city proper. If, however, you enjoy basking in the envy of your fellow man, then by all means, take your time, but why waste another moment? Go, enjoy the beginning of your new life in paradise. Bureau of Immigration, was it? I suppose we had better show ourselves willing for the time being. Attuned to this without being attuned to the large one? Outside. Registration on. Right. Welcome to Yulmore, fortunate friends. May I have your names? I'm Alphinaud, an artist, and this is Dilly, my assistant. Ah, yes, I was informed of your imminent arrival. We can forgo the usual interview and begin processing your registration papers forthwith. Now, the citizens of Yulmore are divided into two classes. There are the free, who are blessed with the favor of Lord Valthree, and the bonded, who work in the employ of the free. Be joining the ranks of the bonded. Your duties are to serve a patron in the capacity for which you were chosen, in your case, painting pretty pictures. Should your patron dismiss you for any reason, you must find another sponsor among the free or accept work as a general laborer. I see, and might you tell us something of the patron we ought to serve? The two patrons, actually. Chai Nuz and Dulya Chai, a Mistel couple whom most refer to as the Chais. They are both gentle souls, but I would ask that you conduct yourself with respect and humility for your own sake as much as theirs. Now, a moment, please, while I complete the relevant paperwork. All in order. These are your registration documents. Take those papers next door and submit them to the clerk. Once they've been stamped, you will officially be Yulmoran citizen. Enjoy your new life in paradise. Welcome to the Bureau of Registration. Papers, please. Papers, please. What have we here? Alphinaud, artist, Zilly, artist assistant, to be employed in the service of Lord Chai Nuz and Lady Dulya Chai. Yes, everything seems to be in order. Your registration is hereby approved. Think it best that we deliver you to the Chai residence before... Oh dear. You smell hideous. You crawl here through a ditch like an unholy miasma of dust and sweat and the musk of some unwashed beast. Proceed directly to the delousery next door and scrub yourselves clean. Use whichever showers are free. After you've rinsed away that stench, you'll want to splash yourselves with this perfume liberally. Once you've made yourself presentable, then you may proceed to the Chai residence. Born in the guard by the stairs will give you direction. Hadn't realized we were so aromatic. Rinse yourself clean in the stream of water. Freshen it. Why this? Oh, perfume. Perfume. Oh, I'm getting it too fast. Apply the perfume as directed, and the delicate scent of roses fills the air. Oh, you've showered and dressed already, have you? Is it not? That is to say, it seems rather exposed for one's pollutions, does it not? Hurry up and shower, Stinky. What would Estinians say? Alize would have been drying her hair by now. Wouldn't she just? Very well, I shall endeavor to emulate her boldness then. Courage, Alphinaud. Well, that was bracing. I believe the lingering smells of the road have been successfully expunged. Shall we go and present ourselves to our new patrons then? We're gonna run out and not a hill, just a tent. You're looking to present yourselves to the Shais, are you? Let me explain how the city's laid out then. Imagine 3 layers, one on top of the other. This layer here is called the buttress. Above is the understory, where the military has its headquarters. Above that, you've got the canopy, which is where the free citizens of Yulmore spend their days. If you want to find your new patrons, you'll need to keep climbing until you run out of stairs. Then look for the Grand Dame's parlor. They'll be in there like as not. Stairs. Right here. Get everything. Let's board. Attuned yourself to all the Ethernet shards in Yulmore. Kalusia is now accessible as an Ethernet. Haven't hit the plaza yet, okay? Backward. get done. How long it is? We haven't even started the search for Alizé yet. According to the message engraved in the base, special permission is required to use this ether. Okay, so I might use it. All the other ones. Julia Chai.
Oh, who's this then?
Lord and Lady Chai, pray forgive our intrusion. I am given to understand you were in search of an artist.
Ah, you must be the new,
Oh, goodness me! What an adorable boy! That silken hair, those pearly cheeks, oh! And you even smell wonderful, like a bed of flowers. I approve of this one, dearest. I am positive he'll paint us the most delightful pictures.
Yes. Well, as long as he paints better than that talentless wretch we sent packing last week.
Wonderful, wonderful! Welcome to Yulmore.
Alphinaud, if it please you, my lady. And this is my assistant.
Your assistant? I've heard of folk bringing in family members, but this seems a bit irregular. Aren't you a little young to have a protege?
We are family in all but name, my lord. Though we share no blood, we have stood by each other through life's many challenges, resolved to prevail together or not at all. Of all people, 'tis she who best understands my work. With her unique insight guiding my hand, the art I create is sure to satisfy your expectations.
This sketch looked pretty good. One of Yu and Gesetsu.
Once the picture is begun, of course, I shall have no need of constant encouragement. And so I wondered, rather than her being in your way, might it then be permissible for my assistant to explore the city she has so longed to see? Out of gratitude for her priceless contribution to my art, I thought it only fair that I make this humble request on her behalf.
Oh, did you ever hear of such devotion? Of course your assistant must have her wish. She shall be free to roam to her heart's content. Isn't that right, darling?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course, dearest. Quite right.
Oh, there's some information. Level 70, City of Final Pleasures. Level 70, free to sightsee. Alphinaud would send you into the city to explore. Now you have the opportunity to experience Yulmore. I'd suggest you make the most of it. Explore the city top to bottom. In other words, I would start with the canopy and go from there. Try wandering around the market stalls, mayhap. Such places are usually filled with colorful characters, only too eager to share local gossip with friendly visitor. Would appreciate it, of course, if you could just share any discoveries with me in turn. We should both learn as much as possible about our new place of residence. Let me attune now. Nope. Maiden. Well, hello there. Fresh register, are we? You seem a little lost. Well, 'tis lovely to make your acquaintance. Speaking of acquaintances, you wouldn't happen to have run into my attendant on your wanderings, would you? Big, strong lad, long hair tied back. He was escorting me on a shopping errand when I realized I'd dropped my handkerchief, but now I've been waiting here all alone while he's been off searching for it. Not terribly fond of being alone. If you do see him, I would be obliged if you could pass on this message. Forget the silly handkerchief and return to my side at once. For this guy now? Pardon. Oh. Just hanging out, huh? Wicked White, that was too close. Thank you, friend. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't come along. Trying to rescue my lady's handkerchief. You see, the wind must have blown it over the edge, but luckily it caught on something. I thought if I could just stretch out far enough. Risk your life for a scrap of cloth. You must think highly of your mistress. Not just a scrap of cloth, not if it belongs to her. Would risk my life and more to spare my mistress, but a single moment of sadness. When I first came to Yulmore, I thought only of improving my lot in life. There was so much more to this city than wealth and plenty. There is no war here, no conflict. The residents all treat each other with warmth and respect. My mistress has been ever so kind to me, and I can think of no other place in Kalusia where I could possibly be happier. Sorry, I might have gotten a bit carried away. I find it hard to stop when I start counting my blessings these days. Please, you should come with me to meet my lady. Once she hears of your deeds, you'll be witness to her generosity firsthand. What? Lonely, you say? Curse my clumsy feet. I must return to her immediately. My attendant told me everything. I am so very grateful you were there to offer your assistance. A dedicated patron. Value him highly, then. Oh, my attitude is not unusual, I assure you. Without the efforts of our bonded residents, we free citizens would not enjoy the pleasures of our daily lives. They are deserving of our unending gratitude. Mayhap in another society our different standing would breed prejudice or resentment, but in Yulmore a most glorious measure is in place to avert such unpleasantness. Part of that measure requires that the free surrender of their fortunes, upon registration, all of our property, financial, intellectual, or otherwise, is given over to the state. In exchange, we are provided with ample funds and commodities to live a life of pampered luxury. Being liberated from the concern of earning coin has an almost a miraculous effect on people's outlook. There are no rivals to compete against, only fellow residents with whom to enjoy our tranquil existence. Now, if you'll excuse us, I must see what the markets have to offer as a reward for the return of my handkerchief. Oh, and I've not forgotten you. Of course, our courageous messenger turned rescuer. Level 70, free to sightsee complete. Taste of honey. The amiable maiden appears suddenly concerned. All this talk of relying on the bonded, and I haven't given a thought as to what your duties might be. I hope I haven't interrupted your work unduly. Tour of the city, is it? Then you really must visit the beehive. It's always buzzing with activity. Local humor. Anyway, a lady by the name of Tista B usually has her seat near the entrance. She will gladly speak with you on any number of topics, assuming you find yourself on her good side. Welcome to the beehive, my little drone, seeking the sting of excitement to liven up your day. I can tell at a glance when folk are new to our happy colony. It's the nervous fluttering, you see, always gives them away. Why don't we play some cards to set you at your ease, eh? A quick game of high or low, it's simply a matter of guessing who has the bigger hand. If you win, I'll grant you a single favor, within reason, of course. Interested? Ready for a game of high or low, then? Let's play maybe another time. What are the... Let's play. Good for you, no time like the present, I say. 3 cards for you, 3 cards for me. Flip one of yours over, and I flip 2 of mine. Now, what's your call? Will your total be higher or lower than mine? You're going with low then, right? Let's see what we've got. My cards add up to 20, and you have a total of 8. Random, or is it supposed to be like that? Congratulations, your guess was right. Usually I'd concede defeat at this point, but what do you say to a rematch? One more win and then we'll talk about that favor. Another match of high or low, come now. Little honeybee, we all need our diversions. Let's play. That's the spirit. Let me sort out the deck. 3 cards for you, 3 cards for me. Flip one of yours over, and I flip 2 of mine. Your call. Will your total be higher or lower than mine? Going with the low then, right? Let's see what we got. Cards add up to 12, and you have 12. Oh, it seems we came out equal, but as lovely as coincidence that may be, we still need a clear winner. Shall we play again? That's what I like to hear. Let me shuffle the deck. Your call. Will your total be higher or lower than mine? Going with the low then. Right, let's see what we got. Cards add up to 19, and you have 16. Well, would you look at that? I think you've got a knack for this, newcomer. Congratulations, victory is yours, as is the prize I promised. Come whisper in my ear, then, and don't be shy. Tell old Tista what she can do for you. That's all. How delightfully wholesome. But if knowledge is what you want, then that is what you shall have. My humble estimation, the most wondrous thing about this town is how safe we are from the Sin Eaters. Say Lord Valtteri was born with the power to command them, which means no Yomorian need ever raise a weapon in defense of this. Is that the kind of thing you wish to know? If your itch still needs scratching, you might get a few words out of Arthorn over there. There's naught that a merry sot likes more than the sound of his own voice. What's that? New to Yulmore, you say? Haha, only just arrived and already you're looking to peel away the layers of mystery. Oh, I'm all for chatting, but you need to slow down and enjoy life, my friend. Tell you what, you hop up on stage and give us a dance first, then we can have our little talk. Dance the mark on stage. Just up. Here. Hand on the mark and That's the way. Dance like there's no tomorrow. Now that was a show. You're welcome to clamber up on stage anytime you like. So what was it you wanted to ask me? Ah, yes, something about our fair city. Well, I can tell you it wasn't always so peaceful as it is today. The Umorian army may be the very essence of military might, but even our forces saw grievous losses in the war against the city. Things changed for us, around 20 years ago now, when the old ruler's son came to power. Got this way with the Eaters, you see, turns them docile as a house of cats. I wouldn't be exaggerating to say they've become something of an ally to Yulmore, no longer an enemy to be feared. Yet elsewhere there are still fools who insist on fighting their losing battles. Pah! A toast to Lord Valthree. Gain preliminary sense of the city. The Chais and Alphinaud will be expecting your return. Back and talk to Alphinaud. Oh, you've returned from your jaunt around the city so soon? Needn't have hurried back. Young Alphinaud has yet to put brush to canvas. One cannot rush good art, I'm told, or good artist, apparently. Ah, finally. I put together an ensemble out of the garments you chose. Is this satisfactory? Oh, goodness gracious me, that last outfit was precious, but this makes you look positively dashing. You truly are a handsome boy. However, am I to decide? What happened to painting? I don't recall this part of the art process. Exactly, the lad is an artist, dearest, not a dress-up doll. It's about time we set him to work for the reason we called him here. Must we? I do love a good painting, but I thought since we were enjoying ourselves so thoroughly... Well, I'd not. That is to say, as long as you... Just make sure you give the lad time to prepare. We know who will be upset if he's not ready to paint at a moment's notice. Whatever you say, darling. So, shall we pick out some jewelry next? Taste of honey, complete. A blessed instrument. Alphinaud draws you close with a whisper. Lady Chai has a very particular sense of beauty, and apparently that extends to how I should dress whilst painting. This obsession of hers works in our favor. The time I spend indulging these distractions is time you can use to continue your exploration. For this excursion, I'd like you to delve into the layer below us and sniff about the military headquarters. I'm sure the understory has its own tale to tell. I'll just open right up. Bob sniff. You're one of the bonded, aren't you? Like me? Please, I need your help. My throat, I can't sing anymore. I've been making excuses, but it's just not getting any better. If my patron thinks I'm of no use to him, then I need you to sneak out to the derelicts and describe my condition to Thorik. Here's a list of symptoms and a hunk of meal to pay for his medicines. Please, I have no one else to turn to. Right, well, going to the derelicts. Derelicts. Hee hee, you need medicines, tonics, potions? A cure for an ailing voice, is it? No, no medicine will cure this. Methinks your songbird has a lump in her throat. It must be cut out, excised, and even then the voice may never heal completely. Hee, poor little songbird. Will they kick her from the nest, I wonder, or simply silence her chirps? Your face. You didn't know? The many hopefuls who enter the city, very few are ever seen to leave, even as corpses. You might see one or two fortunate fools hurled from the balconies, but the rest, gone. Town of nightmares it is, not for the ship's rat. Oh, no, no. I am content to scurry around down here and nibble on the crumbs which fall from the table. Consultation is over. You have my verdict, and I have my mule. Good day. People, mule, soylent green. Did you get my medicine? So that's it. What am I to do if I can't sing? Ah, there you are, my sweet canary. Have you been crying again? Don't tell me your voice is still not on the mend. Oh, generous sir, have mercy. I've done all I can, but even the apothecary said... You've been suffering all this time. I'm sorry, my pet. I hadn't realized your affliction was this grave, but you needn't fret. I'll not reward your hours of trilling by casting you out into the street. You are too kind, sir. But what use am I if I cannot sing? I fear the day I become more burden to you than treasure. I shall have a word with Lord Valtteri and arrange for your ascension. In that paradise where resides neither pain nor illness will your song ring out clearly once again. Or mayhap you think it is a step too far. No, you would do that for me? Of course, why? I would almost wish to hasten my own ascension, knowing your blessed instrument was waiting there to greet me. Ascension. Sounds too good to be true. Ah, you must be a new arrival. Allow me to explain. As all know, the Sin Eaters exist to devour the sinful, but also do they serve to gather the souls of the innocent and shepherd them into the celestial paradise. Through Lord Valtteri that we learn this truth. It is through Lord Valtteri's grace that free people of Ulmore are destined to embrace salvation. We are blessed to spend our days surrounded by love and merriment until at last we are called to our final rapture. Even the bonded may find a place within that host, should their patrons deem them worthy. Lord Valtteri truly is a great man, isn't he? Sounds amazing. Now, if you will excuse us, we must be on our way. May you find eternal salvation for the compassion you have shown my precious canary. What a wise and generous ruler, is almost certainly up to something. Hottest day. It's good to see you back. You were taking so long I began to worry something had happened. Began sketching an outline for the portrait, but nay, days appear otherwise occupied. Will you share what your investigations have gleaned thus far? The Lord Valtteri boasts some manner of influence over the Sin Eaters, does he? That would explain the reverence in which he is held by the citizenry. As for this ascension business, I cannot help but be put in mind of that apothecary and his ominous remarks. So many folk have entered the city over the years, then where do they go? Blessed instrument, level 70 complete. Level 70, Emergent Splendor. Alphinaud seems eager to discuss the significance of your discoveries. I take my eye off you for one moment. You're chattering away with that assistant of yours. Am I to assume the outline is done then? Well, what in the blazes? So unflattering. Explain yourself, Alphinaud. Where's your artistic interpretation? It should evoke images of affluence and nobility and overwhelm the viewer with its boundless beauty. Lord Shah, you stated that this portrait was to commemorate your anniversary, yours being a joyous union. It seemed to me that a realistic portrayal. Realistic? I don't want realism. I want perfection, a spectacle to slacken the jaws and weaken the knees, to make people cry out in amazement. Now fetch a blank canvas, Anne. I say, did that come from above? Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Tale to make you quiver and your noble blood freeze. There was a villain on the loose, set to ruin our fair city. But our Lord has got him now, and his fate will not be pretty. Yes, the hammer of justice is poised to come crashing down, and one and all who'd watch it fall are invited to join his lordship in the offer. Malcontent, how dreadful. Man is to face sentencing? That's right. In fact, if you're curious, it might be worth you going along for the experience. The offer they mentioned is part of the Emergent, level above us where Lord Valtteri resides. Ordinarily, you would be barred from entering, but it seems they'll be opening its doors for the next little while. The crown lift will take you up there. We had better not dawdle then. Joining the crowd up there. Offered.
That's him. That's Valtteri. He's attended by Sin Eaters. But how does he keep them from attacking?
Mercy! Mercy!
By the 12.
Oh, does he just feed the criminals to the Sin Eaters?
Kaishia, what happened to you?
Who are these impudent louts? I do not recall requesting their presence.
Lord Dvortri, what is the meaning of this? Why is this poor man bleeding to death on your floor?
Why? You ask me why? Because criminals must be punished. And this man is guilty of fraud. He came to us, claiming to be a man of business. Yet his subsequent conduct has shown him to be anything but. Yulm is a city built on love for one's fellow man. Those who have naught to give and live only to take are a blight upon our society!
He takes a lot.
To atone for this crime, I ordered that he fling himself from the balcony. And he had the temerity to weep. Please, my lord, anything but that. What then is a man of mercy to do, but offer the sinner another way to show his contrition?
Another way? Meaning what exactly?
Sin Eaters are part of Yulmor's society, but they must be fed with ether. Living ether. So, I demanded an offering of flesh, carved by his own hand, from his own hide. And still, he could not do as I asked. A wholly unsatisfactory performance.
He's got a lot of flesh to give.
Tis true that Kaishir won his place here by fraud, but his actions were driven only by a desire to share in your paradise. That you would cast him out I could almost accept, but to humiliate him thus, to demand his very life? Is this truly the way of Yulmor?
Oh, you dim, deluded child. Have you ever paused to consider what it takes to maintain such a paradise in this barren, broken world of ours? The guarantee of safety and stability. The knowledge that if one only abides by the rules, one has naught to fear.
Like, head underneath.
I alone can offer these things, for I alone can command the Sin Eaters. And thus am I alone the voice of justice, and any who oppose me, villains to be punished.
And people call this paradise.
Adam.
You were granted a place in my city for a particular skill. What was it?
Painting.
Oh, an artiste! Then you shall paint a picture for me of Yulmor. If I find your art pleasing, then I may excuse this display of insolence. Who gave you permission to tend to that criminal's wounds? I told you to paint me a picture!
What you need is a mirror, not a painting. It will capture the horror I see before me far better than I ever could.
Oh.
Can you walk?
I think so.
Did that little worm just insult me?
I get up.
I'll kill them! I'll kill them all! I'll enslave their minds! Torment them! Torture them! Then tear out their hearts!
Well, that went well. Forgive me, in my anger I seem to have marched us back outside again, though it is probably best we leave the island altogether. I believe we've worn out our welcome in Yulmore. In any case, I've seen enough of the world's self-proclaimed capital city to convince me that our battle against the Sin Eaters will find few allies in Kalusia. I will accompany you back to the Crystarium. We need to regroup and think on our strategy anew. Aishir, I have done you a grave disservice. You were hungry and desperate, and I offered you a solution without once considering the risk inherent in you accepting it. If I had but known the price you would be made to pay. You gave me everything I needed to make your idea work. It was me who made a mess of things, not you. Even after all the trouble I caused, you still stepped in and saved me, and now Lord Valthree wants us all dead. Why not come back with us to the Crystarium? I am certain we can find work for you there, if you are willing. No, that would just be me leaning on your kindness again. I need to do some thinking, learn how to stand on my own 2 feet. Very well, but you must promise you'll be careful. The Yulmorans may yet come looking for us. I'll keep my head down, don't worry, and you take care too. Give me the chance to repay what you've done for me. Alphinaud. Lord and Lady Chai. What in the blazes did you do? They have the entire city looking for you. I took a peek at your unfinished portrait, Alphinaud. Now, I've had many a beautiful and striking picture painted for me, but there was something about your work. It was as if you had caught the very essence of our love and rendered it naked upon the canvas. It was bold, unflinching, and I adored it. Please, you must come back with us and finish what you began. I will speak with Lord Valthree and vouch for your character. I'm sure we can smooth over any hard feelings. I am sorry, Lady Chai. There are more important matters to which I must attend. More important? What could be more important than enjoying the days we have left us to the fullest? Pray, press me no further. We are leaving, but I would not presume to take the garments you were so kind as to procure for me. One moment. I wouldn't hear of it. Keep the clothes, you silly boy. I insist. I shall make arrangements so that you can pass through the gate without causing a stir. I expect you to come and visit. I will return, I promise you that. The outrage I witnessed must not go unanswered. Next time we meet, I shall be better prepared to confront the corruption which hides behind the glittering facade. But be careful they don't get wrapped up in it. Going back to the Crystarium, does that mean Alizé next? Thank you, my friend, for staying at my side through this whole sordid endeavor. Whilst not quite the joyous outcome I had hoped for, our efforts have nevertheless answered a great many questions. Suffice it to say, our plans for saving the First are unlikely to involve the aid of Lord Valthree and his subjects. And we must speak with the Exarch and chart a new course. This is far from over. See the Exarch. The Ocular. It is good to be back amongst friends. In such company I can finally turn my thoughts to the future. But ere we discuss all we have learned and begin planning our next step, I think it best that you visit Alizé. Familiarity with Amarong will no doubt provide us invaluable insight, and besides, I know she is eager to see you as I was. Bring a smile to her face, Zilly. Level 70, Emergent Splendor complete.